Perhaps we have spent too much of our lives learning how to try harder, to do better, to endure more, to improve ourselves constantly. These ideas are often presented as virtues, rarely questioned, quietly absorbed. And so even on days when we have done enough, there is a lingering unease. Was this sufficient? Could I have done more? Did I disappoint someone without realizing it? The fear of falling behind settles in softly, pushing us forward, even when there is nowhere urgent to go. Over time, trying hard becomes a habit. We apply effort, even when nothing is wrong. We stay alert, even when there is no threat. We reassure others that we are fine, even when no one asked. When effort becomes the default state, rest stops feeling restorative. The body may pause, but the mind keeps running. This is why exhaustion can exist, even in stillness. We often misunderstand what it means not to try so hard. We fear that easing up will make us irresponsible, stagnant, or unworthy. The idea of effort is so closely tied to our sense of value that letting go of it immediately triggers guilt. But effort and sincerity are not the same. Effort is tension, sincerity is direction. Effort drains us, sincerity sustains us. Moments when we do not have to try so hard rarely arrive with dramatic change. They appear quietly, in ordinary days that look no different from others. An afternoon, after the necessary tasks are finished. An evening, when we do not feel the need to prove anything. A moment when we realize that today does not require further justification. In those moments, our breathing softens, and the noise inside us fades. That quiet is where these moments begin. Not trying so hard is not the same as giving up. It is closer to deciding not to push ourselves any further than necessary. It is acknowledging that we have already done enough and allowing ourselves to stop reaching for more. This choice is not weakness. It is something only a person who understands their own limits can make. We often place our hope in the phrase just a little more. If I endure a bit longer, things will improve. If I try a little harder, stability will follow. If I push through, recognition will come. But that little more rarely has an end. Effort remains constant, while satisfaction is always postponed. Moments when we do not have to try so hard begin when we step out of this endless delay. When effort loosens its grip, something remains. Breath returns first. The hurried inhalations slow, and our thoughts follow. Emotions lose their sharp edges. Judgment becomes clearer. In this state, we no longer need to perform or protect ourselves. We are allowed to exist as we are. These moments are when we stop acting and simply remain present. The same is true in relationships. A relationship where we do not have to try so hard is one where we do not need to prove ourselves. We do not have to add extra warmth, explain every word, or maintain an image of being agreeable. Silence is not uncomfortable, and fewer words do not create anxiety. The sense that effort is unnecessary becomes a quiet measure of relational depth. Effort can also overwhelm our lives beyond relationships. We constantly push ourselves toward a better version, a more stable version, a more complete version of who we believe we should be. We judge the present self by standards meant for a future self that has not yet arrived. As a result, who we are now is treated as incomplete. Moments when we do not have to try so hard interrupt this evaluation. They allow us to see the present self not as temporary, but as already whole. This does not mean effort has no place. There are times that require focus, discipline, and persistence. The problem arises when effort becomes the baseline setting of life. When rest is monitored and slowing down feels like failure. In such a state, recovery struggles to happen. Moments without effort are moments that permit healing. Life rarely collapses when we stop trying so hard. More often, clarity improves. We begin to understand not only what deserves our energy, but also what does not. This discernment simplifies life and softens the way we move through it. Where effort recedes, space appears. And within that space, decisions become gentler. These moments are not loud. They do not announce themselves. They are easy to miss. But when they accumulate, the quality of life changes. A life once defined by constant tension begins to allow adjustment. Endurance gives way to breathing. Progress becomes less about force and more about balance. We are allowed to exist without constantly proving ourselves. We do not need to explain more, demonstrate more, or accelerate beyond our current pace. We often forget this. Moments when we do not have to try so hard remind us. When reflecting on a day, it is not always necessary to ask how hard we worked. Another question can be just as important. Was there a moment today when I did not have to try so hard? A moment when I did not push myself? When simply being present felt acceptable? If the answer is yes, even briefly, the day is enough. These moments are not rewards. They are signals, quiet indications that we are allowed to loosen our grip, to soften our effort, to breathe without urgency.